good afternoon and welcome everyone. Let me start by thanking the Isaac Bear String Quartet. That's who was performing for us today. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I would like to have them back at every library event for the rest of my career. So thank you again for joining us. I am Susan DeMarco. I'm the Children's Services Coordinator for New Hanover County Public Libraries, and it has been my pleasure to be co-chair for the Read Across the County Committee for 3 years now. Claire White is the one doing all the work running around, so she is here. She is one of the librarians as well. So now let's get to why we're here. Today we are excited to welcome author Brendan Slocumb, who was raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina, not too far from us. He is a graduate of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro with a degree in music education, concentrations in violin and viola. For more than 20 years, he has been a public and private school music educator and has performed with orchestras throughout Northern Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. His first novel, The Violin Conspiracy, published in 2022, portrays a riveting story about a young Black musician and his great-great-grandfather's violin. To quote the New York Times, "The Violin Conspiracy is a page-turner." Brendan Slocumb isn't too different from his protagonist, a natural. He easily conjures the thrill of mastering a tough musical passage and the tinnitus-like torture of everyday racism. For our third annual Read Across the County Community Read, we selected The Violin Conspiracy as our adult title. The purpose of Read Across the County is to bring people of different backgrounds and ages together for a community-wide summer of reading. Brendan's book is one of 4 selected as for various age groups that spotlights and celebrates diversity. The selected titles this year aim to inspire connection through the universal language of music. And I don't know how many of you have had the pleasure of participating in some of our other programs that we've had throughout the summer. There was some violin lessons for adults. That was wildly popular. And then several things for children, including the book Listen, which is about Evelyn Glennie, the story of a drummer who was deaf. And it's a true story. It's really powerful. And that then inspired us to partner with the deaf and hard of hearing community. So we had some sign language events, some deaf-blind awareness. So we've really branched out this summer, but all sparked by the love of music and Brendan's book. Brendan believes that everyone can learn to appreciate and love music, and that it can be a new way of communicating, building bonds, and connecting with people who may look, sound, or speak differently. We've had a great summer of impactful discussions and programs centered around this belief. We could not think of a better way to close out this summer than hearing from the author himself. Following his talk, we will be allowing for a few questions from the crowd. So throughout, if you think of questions, you can jot it down, and there is some paper. Riley and Claire have paper and pens back there. You're welcome to jot down a question, put it in the box there, and then I'll read those that we have time for. And then on your way out, there's a survey we would love to have you complete, and some stickers, because who doesn't love stickers even when you're a grown-up? So without further ado, let's welcome Brendan Slocumb.
I want a sticker. Wow. First, thank you guys so much for showing up on a Saturday. I know you could be doing anything else, but you guys are here to apparently listen to me speak. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. My name is Brendan Slocumb. First, can we give it up for that string trio one more time? Where are you guys? Are you still here? They're probably changing clothes. All right. My name is Brendan Slocumb. I am the author of the Violin Conspiracy and Symphony of Secrets. For those of you who have read those books, I'm a little bit biased, but I heard they were awesome. First, someone who's going to tell me how much time I have, because I have a tendency to be a bit loquacious at times, and the clock is not my friend.
All afternoon.
All afternoon. All right. Well, okay. Yeah, that beach isn't going anywhere. All right. My name is Brendan Slocumb. I was raised in Fayetteville, as Susan said, which is not too far from here. And this is the first time I've been back in Wilmington, probably in 15 years. So it's great to be here. I forgot how hot it was. I was going to wear shorts, but that may have been a bit too casual. But I'm really, really, really happy to be here. In 2020. We all remember what happened in 2020, right? No? Yeah, that nasty pandemic, that once-in-a-lifetime pandemic just hit and messed everything up. And I was a working musician. I was teaching lessons. I was playing in a few symphonies. I was playing recitals. I was doing performances. I was teaching lessons, everything. And all of that stopped. And we didn't know how long that was going to last. Is it coming back to you now? Yeah, and for a working musician, that was awful, because that's how I made my living, that's how I paid my rent, and that's how I ate. So during that time, I practiced for as much as I could, but then I was like, well, what am I practicing for? We don't know how long this is going to last. So I did what a lot of people did. I sat on the couch and I got fatter and fatter and fatter. And I should have bought stock in Doritos, because that's all I did. I was flipping through the internet one day, selling books in the age of COVID. I'm like, all right, cool, sure. I had written a science fiction manuscript 20 years prior, which is the best science fiction novel you will never read. I promise you, it is so awesome, but you'll never get a chance to read it. And so I submitted it, and the agent who read it sent me an email that said, wow, this novel is absolutely terrible. But you've got a good voice and you should write what you know, and it's not science fiction. I said, okay. So I washed off the Dorito crumbs and I wrote the first chapter of the Violin Conspiracy, which was the protagonist Ray sitting in his high school classroom. Not too unlike these kids that we saw playing. It took me back. I was like, wow, I remember doing that, same outfit and everything. And I remember being that thin too. Jeez, where does it go? So I sent the first chapter in, and he wrote me back, he's like, is this a book? I was like, no, I just wrote this. He's like, if you write this, I can sell it. Well, I'm not doing anything else, so why not? So I wrote every day for 2.5 months, and I had the Violin Conspiracy. The first week he went out with it, the first week I had it done, to a publisher called, I don't know if you've heard of these people, Simon & Schuster. Yeah, I don't like them because they passed on it. So I was not really bummed out, because I wasn't expecting anything to happen from this. All right, cool. The next week, he emailed me and said, you have a meeting with the president, the vice president, the head of marketing, the head of publicity, and every other head at Penguin Random House Books. I was like, all right, what does that mean? It means find a good shirt that looks good on Zoom. All right, cool. So I put on my Zoom shirt and we had a meeting, and they said, we're starting a new imprint and we would like your book to be the flagship book. And my agent texted me and said, don't say a word. Okay, all right. And when the meeting was done, I was like, what just happened? He was like, you did it. All right, cool. What do I have to do? You have to write another book. All right, cool. So I got a 2-book deal, which was insane, which, I'm like, all right. So I had the Violin Conspiracy done, and I started writing Symphony of Secrets. But back to the Violin Conspiracy. How many of you have read that book? Whoa. So it's okay to do spoilers, right? right, just, you have to, you never know, you gotta check. Okay, can I just tell you guys, just on a side note, how much I am geeking out? I can't believe you guys are here to see me do this. You know what, I need to immortalize this. So this is going on Instagram, so wait for it. See, those ladies in the back, they know what's up. So this is going to be the best picture. Why do I know this is going to be the best picture? Because this side is going to go first, and you're going to see how lame they are, and then you're going to be like, oh, we have to do something better. All right, here we go. Don't pay any attention to what I said. Make it good, give me something. See what I tell you. All right. Yeah, that was kind of, all right, now give me, okay, the ladies in the back know what I'm talking about. Oh, and you have copies of the book too, I love it, yes. All right, I'm sorry. I'm kind of overwhelmed because this is bananas. So, with the Violin Conspiracy, a lot of people ask me, how much of that book is you? And my response is always the same. 92% of the book is actually me. Most of it is based on... First time I've ever gotten applause for that. All right. 92% of it is based on my experiences. When I was growing up, people did not understand why I liked the violin, why I liked classical music. They just didn't get it. And I didn't really either. I just kind of went with it. But when I say it is a life-saving force, I am not exaggerating. That is not hyperbole. When I was a kid, I was not the best student. I started at age 9 through a public school music program, and I was not the best student at all. I was failing math because I just hated numbers. I can count to 4, that's all I need, so I'm good. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all I need. So 4, I'm good with that. I didn't do my homework. It's just, and I started playing the violin and something clicked. And I was like, wow, I really like this. And my teacher, she happened to be friends with one of my math teachers, and that can never be a good thing. And my math teacher informed her that I wasn't doing my homework, I was failing. So my strings teacher said to me, Brendan, I understand that you're not doing too well in your math class. So unless you get your grades up, you're not going to be able to play violin anymore. That's all it took. I started studying. I started doing my homework. I started making A's. I was like, it's not hard to be smart. Why haven't I been doing this the entire time? And as a byproduct of playing the violin, it taught me so many things. It actually got me to college. I had zero intention of going to school at all. I was not going to do anything. My teacher, when I was in high school, said to me, you need to audition at UNC Greensboro and major in music education. I said, what is that? It's what I do. You can be a music teacher. Oh, well, I like music. I like you. I like teaching, so sure, why not? I'll do it. And it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. So when I was a freshman in college, my first violin teacher for private lessons, his name was Sir Trevor Williams. He was the concertmaster of the BBC Symphony Orchestra from London. And he would come in, stay for 2 weeks, fly back to England for 2 weeks, and teach us 2 lessons in a week. He was about 75 years old, and traveling really does something to you because he was mean as a snake. When I tell you this man was tired all the time, he would fall asleep in my lessons, and I was playing a Bach piece, much like the string trio was playing, and I played a B rather than a B flat, and he grabbed my hand and he said, Brendan, Bach would never write a major third. What are you doing? I was like, I don't even know what a major third is. Why are you grabbing me like this? And then he said to me, Brendan, your hands are far too large to ever play violin in tune. I can't teach you. I took him at his word, because why would I not believe him? And so he made me quit. So I was done. I just played in the symphony orchestra. Then we had a teacher come in the next year because, believe it or not, this guy didn't last too long there. So we had a real teacher come in, Dr. Rochelle Vetter Huang. She came in, and I told her what he said, and she was like, that's nonsense. Have you ever seen Estock Perlman's hands? They're twice the size of yours. I was like, all right. So I went immediately, back when pre-internet, I went to the dictionary and I looked at this guy, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy before. Yeah, he plays beautifully. So she taught me everything that I know. So the character of Dr. Janice Stevens in the book is based on my violin teacher, Dr. Rochelle Vetter Huang. And I let her read the manuscript after I finished it. She was the first person I let read it, and she said, Brendan, I was only going to read for half an hour, but 3 hours later, I just could not put this down, and I can't believe you remember what I played, those lessons that we had. I can't believe you remember that. My response was, well, you taught me every single thing that I know. Why would I not remember that? And I just wanted to honor her that way, and I hope it came across in the book, because I would not be here were it not for her. So can we give it up for my teacher? Yes. Speaking of education, how many teachers are in here? Yes, thank you guys, thank you guys, thank you guys. I'm no longer in the classroom. I spent 25 years in the classroom, and it was 25 of the greatest years I could ever imagine. So thank you guys for what you do. And only one step higher than teachers. There's only one thing that's better than teachers. How many librarians are in here? Yes, absolutely. I used to read a lot as a kid. Me and my siblings and I, I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, was it me, or did we really go to the library every other weekend? And she was like, that was the best free thing that we could do as a family. And we went every other weekend and we'd get stacks of books. So librarians, my hat, I would take my hat off, but I didn't shave my head, so it's a little raggedy under here. So thank you, librarians, thank you, teachers. Okay, the Violin Conspiracy. This story, 92% of it is me. Did some of that stuff really happen to you? Yeah, some of that stuff actually did happen. And well, one question that I get a lot is, was it cathartic to write this stuff down? And the answer is absolutely, because the things that happened to Ray in the story really did happen to me. And when I would tell my friends these things happened, I would get the same answer every time. Brendan, you're exaggerating. No, things like that don't happen. No, you misunderstood. It's not really like that. I'm like, well, okay, but it really did happen. So that wedding scene, and those kids playing just kind of reminded me of that. The wedding scene, that was actually real. It was, but I was in college, not high school at the time, and we played at a wedding, and the father of the bride, the second we played the last note, he shooed us out of the church as quickly as he could, and he looked us right in the eye, and he said, you ruined my daughter's wedding. He was like, this is not what I paid for. And I was like, first time I'd ever really seen hatred in someone's eyes, and it stuck with us for a very long time, and it was not cool. But I hope to this day that guy has had a change of heart. I really do. I mean, it was like 30 years ago, so he probably doesn't even remember it. But the Baton Rouge scene, that was real. The only difference between Ray and Brendan, Ray went to jail. I didn't go to jail, but the experience was just that. In the summer of 2000, I had a brand new black Honda Accord, and I was driving cross country with a friend the summer before school started. And this is pre-GPS, so you had to use a map. Y'all remember maps? Okay. So we were using a map, and it was on a Sunday evening, right before it got dark, and I was in the far right lane, but the hotel was to the left. I was like, oh, it's over there. I put my signal on, turned, lights and sirens. I'm like, oh, here we go. My friend, who was white, he was like, what? I was like, dude, I'm in a new car, I'm in the deep south, and I'm black. It's called a DWB. Y'all know what that is? Driving while black. That's a real thing. Some of you guys will never have to experience that, but trust me, it's a real thing. And the cop, he made me get out of the car, hands up, gun drawn on me with a bullhorn, walk backwards, get on your hands and knees. Oh, here it comes. I thought, had my friend not been in the car, I don't know what would have happened, but And then, my wallet was in my back pocket. I put it on the ground. He came and looked at my driver's license. He was like, okay, you can go. And I'm like, why did all of that happen? Oh, well, you made an illegal lane change. Okay, well, thanks. So I called the station, and the chief said, well, maybe he didn't think you could hear him. It's like, all right, dude, you're just making excuses for this guy. But so I will never go back to Baton Rouge ever again, ever. If there was a bucket of money with my name on it, I wouldn't go. But I hope you guys enjoy Baton Rouge. It's a little bit hotter there than it is here, but yeah, don't go. Chapter 33, Nora's letter. I know that was a very, very, very tough chapter to read. I know it was hard. So those of you that powered through it, my applause to you guys, because I know it's tough. I know it was tough. And the reason I felt that it was important to put that letter in the book is because when I was in school, no shade to North Carolina public schools, but I got America had slaves, black people picked cotton, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Ta-da, that's it. That's all I got. And I knew that there was much more to what happened during slavery. And a lot of people don't really understand how brutal life for slaves was. So I felt, oh, okay, well, all right. So I felt that it was important to be as accurate as possible. I think that particular aspect of life really, it gives you a sense of what it was like for people and the resilience that people have to have in order just to survive. And in Ray's story, resilience is a huge part of his story. Grandma Nora, I often get asked, was she real? Absolutely. I know, right? That's why I'm wearing a pink shirt, yes. Some of you remember, yes, Ray would always wear the pink shirt. Yes, so I'm repping my grandma Nora was the absolute sweetest woman on the planet. She was real, and I asked my cousins, my aunts and uncles, my mom, I was like, was she really that sweet, or was I imagining things? They all had the exact same thing to say. She never had a bad thing to say about anyone, ever. And she was about this tall, and there were always pink and green rollers in her hair, and the ones that weren't in her hair were on the floor behind her, and my siblings and I would take them and snap them at each other, and she would get, where is my hair? I was like, Grandma, your hair, it's so fine. Your hair is fine. It's blue, but it's fine. It was. You know how sometimes grandmas put that blue stuff in their hair? I'm looking. I don't see any blue stuff today. I'm looking. But yeah, she was the sweetest woman on the planet, and I wanted to honor her by, just sharing her with the world. And she really did cook squash at Thanksgiving, and it would be sitting there from the time she cooked. No one would eat it. The reason I don't like squash today, fun fact about Brendan, the reason I don't like squash is because she sliced squash and put it on a plate. I thought it was a lemon, so I picked it up, and I thought it was a lemon. It was not a lemon. And I spat it out, never to eat squash again. It was gross. Grandma Nora. Okay, I get this question often. Okay. Ray's girlfriend, Nicole. Couple of things about Nicole. First, was she a real person? Nicole was actually based on a friend of mine that I used to play with in a symphony in Virginia, and during the pandemic, she got a new job in St. Louis, and we had lunch right before she left, and I told her, I'm really sorry, we played together for years, and I'm just gonna miss you and all of this stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm writing a book. No, you're not. No, really am. No, you're not. You know what, I'm writing a book and I'm gonna put you in it. I'll believe it when I see it. Okay, fine. So I put her in the book. She was happy, but she was not happy. This is another question I get all the time. What was Nicole's race? Does anyone wonder that? Okay, so I actually made Nicole's race ambiguous intentionally. I did that because I wanted people to see that we put our own biases on people for whatever reason. Some people say to me, I thought she was white because she was from Erie, Pennsylvania, and she played in an orchestra. I thought she was black because she could relate to Ray so well. And then those switched when they found out that she stole the violin. Someone said to me, well, I thought she was Asian because she was first chair. And I'm like, okay. I didn't say it, someone else did. But no, I totally left her race ambiguous intentionally because, you know, we actually put our own biases on people, you know, and I wanted people to, you know, do I do that? If I look at someone, do I assume that I know everything about them just from looking at them? You know, it sucks, but it happens, and we do that. You know, I have gone into places, I've gone in to conduct and to play, and, you know, I've walked into the room, it's a Friday afternoon, I pretty much look like this, and I walk in, and someone will say, the garbage is over there, you can take it out. And I smile, and they say, well, that's lovely. Once the custodian comes in, we can tell him where the garbage is, but I'm here to direct your group today. And they don't believe it. And then I'll reach for someone's violin, and then they will pull back. And then a brave child will hand me their instrument, and then I will play something, and then they'll say, oh, okay, well, and I'm like, but, you know, I'm used to it. And people say, does that make you mad? Well, sure it makes me mad, but I will take the hits. I will take the hits now so that the next person who looks like me who wants to do that never has to go through that. Thanks. I didn't mean to make you applaud for that, but thank you. All right. The Marx family. Andrea and Dante Marx, are those real people? Totally made up. And the reason I put so much emphasis on the Marx family is because everyone, we all can relate to someone being that entitled. We all know someone who thinks that, you know, like, sure, I can just walk into your house. Well, sure, I can. You owe me this because I am who I am. We all know people like that. And, you know, I just figured that, hey, they might be real to someone. And if you know them, hide your stuff. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, Ray's family. How many of you liked Mom? How many of you just wanted to fight Mom? Okay. The next question I get the most often is, was that really your mom? A silence goes over the room. I promise you, Ray's mom is not my mom. Not. Now, a couple of things about Ray's mom. It's like, well, was she just a nasty, self-centered person? Was she really that greedy? Or, hear me out, or was that the only way she knew how to protect Ray because she'd never seen anyone who looked like him be successful in what he was trying to do? So she didn't want him to be disappointed and experience that failure, so she discouraged him. One or the other. How many of you think she was just mean and nasty? How many of you think she was really trying to protect him? How many of you think I'm full of crap and she was just mean? Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, that was Ray's mom, and she was honestly, she was not a real person. Okay, Brendan, have you ever been to Moscow for the Tchaikovsky competition? No. Will they have the Tchaikovsky competition? I think it's next year, because next year they're slated to do this. With everything that's going on in Russia right now, I honestly don't know. And oh, they had it this. Did it actually happen?
It was this summer, and I know this because there was a news article that when Prigozhin did his little mutiny thing,
Yeah.
they were on lockdown in the hotel, and they wouldn't let, and it was pretty much people from China and North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Because Europeans and Americans
And that's an interesting point. It's like, the kids that enter this competition, they work and work and work for years to prepare for that one moment. And is it unfair of them not to be able to compete because of what one man is doing? That's kind of, what do you do? But they don't have to worry about that anymore because that guy is, no. Well, hopefully that war will be done very soon and they won't have to worry about it. But I started playing violin when I was 9, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I was thinking about this other day. I often just stop and reflect. I think about where I was, 5-6 years ago, and I think about today, and it's an unbelievable journey. Because of my violin, when I say it's a life-saving force, it truly, truly is. I got to go to school. I've gotten to travel. The first time I ever flew was because of my violin. I entered a competition in high school and I won, and I got to go to a national competition, and I flew from Fayetteville to Detroit, Michigan, and that was the greatest thing that I had ever done, ever. I got to go to New York for the first time. I played in Central Park with my orchestra from Fayetteville. Greatest thing that ever happened to me. I got to go to college. I got a scholarship, a small one, but I got a scholarship. And I've met so many incredible people. You guys have heard of, I'm about to name drop, I totally am. You guys have heard of Stevie Wonder, right? He's some guy. I hear he's a pretty good musician, I actually got to play with him at a concert in Charlottesville, Virginia. 16,000 people completely filled the arena, and it was, when I tell you this man walked into the room, you just had to take 5 steps back. Unbelievable, just insane. And I got to play with Stevie Wonder, and all because I started playing violin when I was 9 years old. Bananas. What else have I gotten to do? I can pay my bills. That's always nice. I played for people's weddings. I've traveled overseas. I actually played with a group that did a tour of Hong Kong and the Philippines, and because of that, I started a nonprofit organization that that is based in the Philippines. I did that for probably 10 years or so, and then the pandemic hit, so I'm going to get back over there. But music is it's one of the strongest forces in the universe. It's the only thing that you can go to another country, not speak the language, and have an instant connection with someone. It is such a powerful force. It is such a life-saving force. It has done wonders for me. So any and every time someone says to me, "Hey, can you do this?" Yes. Will you come to my school? Yes. Will you, help my kid? Absolutely. I will 100% do it because I know what it's done for me, and it will do that for anyone who needs it. And if I can be that much of a force to helping someone else, I will absolutely do it because it's done so much for me. I will pay it forward every opportunity I get. Okay, Brendan, can you come and do it? Yeah, sure, I'll come and do this. Absolutely, yeah. And I am so happy to be, okay, yeah. You guys are nice, I like y'all. How am I doing on time? Where's Susan? I don't have my contacts in, so it's a little rough. I'm good? All right, very good. So, I talked about that. All right, so, Brendan, you wrote a book, Violin Conspiracy. It was a Good Morning America book club pick. Some of you may have seen me on TV, Good Morning. Yeah, you didn't see that, all right. Well, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. I look pretty good, I do. That was an experience. I got to play in Carnegie Hall. That was insane. That was I know. And if you watch ABC News, Lindsay Davis, yeah, she's really pretty in person, for real. Wow, she really is. And she was nice, and she gave me a hug, so that was cool. So I had to write a second book because I got a 2-book deal, which was awesome, and I was like, do I have to? And they're like, yeah, you have to. You already took the check. All right, cool. So I wrote this book called Symphony of Secrets. How many of you have read that? Yes! Not enough hands, but yes! There's plenty of time for you to read it, and I'm sure it's here at the library. All right, cool. If you haven't read Symphony of Secrets, well, how many of you liked The Violin Conspiracy? Oh, thank you. Thank you. If you liked the Violin Conspiracy, you're going to love Symphony of Secrets. I love it even more. And people say to me, Brendan, was it hard to write your second book coming off of Violin Conspiracy? The answer is absolutely. It was one of the toughest things that I've ever had to do. It was hard. I talked to several experienced, seasoned authors, and they all said the same thing. That second book is just, it's the second book, and it's tough. And so I already had that in my head, and I'm like, geez, what am I going to do? Why is it tough? Because your first book is usually very, very personal. And, you know, when you have to come up with something from scratch, it's just like, well, this isn't the first book. You know, so I was expecting people to expect the Violin Conspiracy Part 2. But with Symphony of Secrets, you know, I wanted to give a voice to the voiceless. And one of the protagonists, Josephine, is a neurodivergent. I learned that term a couple of years ago. She lives with autism in the 1920s, and she's a woman, and she's a black woman. She's got everything going against her, you know. But she ended up doing some incredible things, and if you've not read the book, it truly is about giving a voice to people who are invisible. And people ask, well, what do you want people to take away from that book? I want people to see people. I want you to look past the attire, look past the accent, look past the haircut, look past the tattoos, look past the zip code, look past the bank account, and really see the person. Everyone has a story to tell, everyone. Oh, and someone has a story to tell right now. Every single person has a story to tell. Everyone has something important to say, and we just need to listen. That's what I want you guys to get from that book, because everyone deserves to be seen and heard. And that was an applause line. All right. All right. Okay, for those of you that haven't read The Violin Conspiracy, I'm sure there's like 6 people in here that have not. Violin Conspiracy is a story of Ray, who discovers that his old family fiddle is actually a priceless Stradivarius violin. And with this discovery, it catapults him into superstardom in the world of classical music. And right before the Tchaikovsky competition, which is the Olympics of classical music, his violin is stolen. Will he get it back? Will he get to compete? Will he win? You have to read it to find out. And all of you know because you already read it, and you know. And I hope there's, okay, who has not read the book? Oh. You know what, the book came out in like 2022, so if you haven't read it, I'm about to spoil some stuff for you. I'm gonna try not to spoil some stuff. I'll try not to. Is it okay? They should have read it, right? Kidding. No, so some people ask me, why did you have Ray at the competition? Why did you have him place where he placed? And my answer was, and my reply was, think about it. There was this kid who came from absolutely nothing, whose mom wanted him to work at Popeyes, who made it to Russia playing on a violin that wasn't his. If that's not a winner, I don't know what is. And, right. And I tell my students all the time, it's not about being the best. It's not about coming in first place. It's about doing your best all the time. We need to learn how to lose. I think we've gotten so far away from that, it's okay to lose. That's how we get better. That's how we learn how to get better. It's okay to come in second. It's okay to lose. What do? You work on something and it makes you better for next time. It's totally okay. Brendan, have you ever lost anything? No, never, no. No, I actually have, but you know, and next time I said, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get better, and I absolutely did. One quick story from the book, there was a very brief scene where Ray was playing the Kabalevsky Violin Concerto, and he completely bombed, and he wanted to quit. That was real. I got on stage at UNCG, and I played this in front of the entire music all the students, all the faculty, and it was a complete disaster. And I walked off the stage and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I quit. My teacher called me and she said, Brendan, that was not very good. But we will work and we will make your next performance better. I don't want to perform anymore. I want to do this. And I didn't feel so bad. Well, I actually felt bad because it was terrible, but I felt even worse because I let her down. And that's the last thing I wanted to do. So a month later, I worked my butt off. I came back and I played Chardas by Monty, and I got 4 standing ovations. I know, it was great. And my teacher was, and they asked me to say, hey, would you play for the accreditation people when they come in? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Then people were like, hey, Brendan, will you play this? Will you play this? Will you play this? Then I had a reputation of knowing how to play, all because I totally bombed a piece. And that's the moral of the story. If you want something good, screw something up. But music is my jam. It is, for real. And I'm so grateful to any and everyone who supports music. If you've got a kid, if you've got a grandkid, if you've got a niece, a nephew, whatever, and they are in the band, in the chorus, in the orchestra, call the principal, write a letter, don't send an email, show up in person, show that you support. Not everyone is on track to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. Not everyone is. Creative outlets are what kids need. When that first grader is in the corner cutting up, he needs a creative outlet. When that little girl is in the corner just kind of singing to herself, she needs that creative outlet. First thing that they want to do is take away the arts because they're not important. Creativity breeds everything. All the technological advances we have now is because of some creative person. Don't let them cut the arts. They are so incredibly important. Please, 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 please support your local arts and your public school arts. Please do that. I know you will. I know you will. How am I doing on time? Am I good? I'm really concerned about this because...
We can start. I can ask some of the questions.
Yeah, sure. You guys are a good-looking crowd, too. But I thought you forgot your contact lenses. Yeah.
All right. So actually, before I start asking a couple of the questions, Brendan received fan mail to the library. So
No way.
open that at your leisure.
What? And it actually says fan mail.
So,
Wow. It's from someone from Savannah, Georgia. That's awesome. Wow, that is a first. Should I open it? Dear Brendan, your books suck. Oh wow, this is a thick one.
directions, right?
You are not the father. Kidding. Oh, that's really nice. It's someone who used to be a soprano, and she appreciates Josephine. It's a story about Symphony of Secrets. I don't know what that means. Well, you need to get that book and read it, yeah. Oh, this is so awesome. I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to, yeah, sorry.
So speaking of a Symphony of Secrets, in case you didn't notice, Pomegranate Books is out in the lobby, and the book is available for sale. And I believe you will be signing.
I brought 2 pens.
You brought 2 pens. So we're ready. All right, first question. This one's my favorite.
Oh.
Do you have a Stradivarius violin?
I don't. But my plan before I leave this earth is to actually play on a Stradivarius, and there's an opportunity. I got an invitation to. It's weird. Musicians, we're a strange breed. Are there any musicians in the house today? Hey. I got an invitation to go to music, a string chamber music party, which, we get together at someone's house, and the host has a couple of Stradivarius, and I got invited to go up to New York and play, and as soon as it works out, I'm going, and maybe I'll walk out with one, who knows?
Library of Congress has them, and they need to be played.
They do.
So they have people come in and perform. You should.
And I actually live like 3 blocks from the Library of Congress, and I'm going to say, hey, that nice lady in the striped shirt told me to go. Yes.
All right, and then a couple of people have asked about the historical accounts in the Violin Conspiracy, and just how did you include that in the novel? What was it imagination? Was it research? Was it?
It was, the historical aspects were all of the above. I wanted the book to be as accurate as possible. I did a ton of research. I contacted the Arts Theft Department in New York. I had interviews with private investigators, insurance companies, police officers. Who else did I interview? All of that, and the whole historical thing. I was doing a ton of research just to make sure that everything that I put in the book was accurate. Accuracy is so important. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm reading a book and I see one thing that says, no, that's not right, I lose interest. I'm like, okay, this person doesn't know what they're talking about, or they didn't care enough to actually, do the proper research. So I try to make sure everything is as accurate as possible. Any other string players in here? Okay, so everything is right? Everything, hey, see, they co-signed on it, all right, it's cool.
Okay, and then we have a couple of school-based questions here.
Ooh.
One is, how would a school go about getting in touch with you if they wanted you to come? I like that. And the second question is, what advice do you give to help arts education? Specifically in New Hanover County, they're cutting music teachers to half-time in under-enrolled schools.
Wow. First, if you are a teacher or a student or a parent who supports, if you want me to come and do something, it's super simple. My name, one word, brendanslocumb@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. If we can work out the dates, I am there. I will absolutely do that. Absolutely. One, because I love the beach, and two, I have gotten so much from so many people. I have gotten so much help. People have gone out of their way to help me to get to where I am right now, and I will do everything that I humanly possible to pay it forward. I will always do that, so yes, I am there. And in terms of New Hanover County's arts programs, if you really want your arts programs to grow and to thrive, it all starts with exposure. It starts with exposure with the little kids as early as possible in the elementary schools. When they're walking down the hall during class change, in the cafeteria, if there's music playing, it doesn't matter what kind of music. Monday could be classical, Tuesday bluegrass, Wednesday hip hop, Thursday jazz, Friday rock and roll. They need to be exposed to it. The more they hear it, the more they're exposed to it, the more they're going to become accustomed to it and want more. They will want more. Write your arts councils. Talk to the principal, talk to the school board, talk to the superintendent. Let them know that you think this is important. If you wait, it's not going to happen. If you wait for someone else to do it, it's not going to happen. The music teachers, all teachers, music teachers work so incredibly hard. Not only are we music teachers, we're counselors, we're referees. We are everything in between. Kids come to us with things that they can't necessarily say to their parents. But of course, then we tell their parents afterwards. But we provide a service that kids need. So many children have come up to me and said, I would not have graduated from high school were it not for your class. Your class is the only thing that made me get up and come to school today. And it is, unless you've been through it. How many of you ever took a music class and you remember your music teacher? There you go. Enough said. Talk to the local arts council, talk to the school board, go to the meetings, ask the teachers what they need from you, and it's probably going to be in the form of just support, just show up. Let them know that you think it's important, because it is. I am living proof that it works. I am living proof that it works.
Great question, thank you. Okay, a question about the Symphony of Secrets.
Ooh.
So reading the book, I was constantly hungry for pizza. Are you a pizza aficionado? And if so, where is the best pizza in North Carolina?
Man, that is a tough one. So, I love pizza. Whenever I go to New York, it doesn't matter where you go in New York. It's good everywhere. It's good everywhere. I'm a vegan now, so I don't get to eat it anymore, but I do anyway. North Carolina, okay, so when I grew up in Fayetteville, I used to live on the outskirts. And anyone know Spring Lake, North Carolina? Okay, I used to live in Spring Lake, and there was this pizza place. I'm sure it's not there anymore. It's probably, the name of it probably Tony's or something. But I remember specifically the tomato sauce was unbelievable. The crust was thin and crispy, and I don't even know what was on the pizza, but it didn't matter because it was insanely good. So I think the best pizza places are the ones that are like the little holes in the wall, where they don't even have napkins. And they give it to you on a paper plate. That's the best. Someone tell me where the best pizza is. I don't know. Oh, New Jersey pizza. I don't think those two words go together. I don't know. The Italian bistro. There you go. Works for me. That sounds good.
I can tell you the truth after.
Okay. Well, I won't eat it anyway because I'm a vegan and, Oh, see, her husband's a chef.
All right, so again, about the Symphony of Secrets, how were you able to write it so quickly? I think you touched on that a little bit earlier.
I write fast. My process is once I have the story outlined, I write every day until I'm done. I've met people who are like, it took me 15 years to write 2 paragraphs. And I'm like, what were you doing? I don't understand. Were you writing it in Arabic? I don't understand what you're doing. I just, I give myself a deadline, and when I'm done, and I can't do anything else that I want to do until I'm done. I like to play video games and go outside and but I can't do that until I'm finished writing. So my agent is not very happy right now because I'm supposed to be writing. I'm writing my 3rd book right now, and I'm about 17 chapters in. Thanks. But I went to the beach yesterday instead of rice. So, yeah, he's not happy, but I got my tan on, yes. So, yeah. It's like 2 different people.
All right, I think we've got time for me to ask you a couple more, and then we'll wrap up for book signing. So what's the significance of the Chuck Taylor shoe?
Chuck Taylor, if anyone who plays violin will get this, it's the one shoe is the perfect weight. If you put 2 shoes in, this is too heavy to be a violin. 1 shoe is just the perfect weight. And when I said that to my agent, I'm going to make it a Chuck Taylor, he's like, what is a Chuck? I was like, oh my gosh. He really did. He was like, what is a Chuck? And you know what? Okay, agents are amazing people. They really are. And my agent, he just flat out said to me, you were my meal ticket. I was like, all right, fine. He went out and bought a pair of Chucks right after that. He was like, these are the best shoes I've ever had ever in my life. I'm like, okay.
And then, would you like to share anything about your brother, Kevin?
Aww. Thank you for whomever asked that question. Thank you. I lost my brother in 2021 to brain cancer. And the character of Bern Hendricks, my brother's name is Kevin Bernard Slocumb, and in Symphony of Secrets, Kevin Bernard Hendricks is my brother. All the personality things, the wrinkles in the shirts, that was him, and he was my hero. He was, I consider myself a good musician. He was unbelievable. He could write music. He played oboe and French horn. His recital was incredible. He could do anything. And if I had this much of his talent, I would be playing in a major symphony right now. And he was just taken away far too soon. He had just turned 45. And you know, it's still a huge loss, and I wanted to dedicate the book to him, and thank you so much for asking that question, and I love him and I miss him, and you guys got a taste of what he was like, so thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, okay, all right, I'm good.
And then the final question, I believe the answer is going to be no, because I don't see an instrument. Can you play for us?
Is the string trio still here?
They love.
They dip? Oh, I was going to grab someone's fiddle, but they sounded great. I was going to, play a little bit, but sorry. Next time. If I get an invitation back, I'll definitely come with fiddle in hand.
So thank you for answering our questions.
Oh, gosh, really? No. Oh, my gosh. You guys are I'm telling you, I'm geeking out so hard. Every day, I literally wake up and I go, I cannot believe this is happening. I can't believe it's happening. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Those of you that are on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, Brendan Slocumb. If you see another Brendan Slocumb, that's my nephew. I'm the better looking one, so just saying. But I'm happy. Where are we going to sign books out there?
So we can do it right here.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, sure.